confirmed number of coronavirus cases in Los Angeles County comes to 1,235,970. The confirmed number of deaths comes to 24,020. Here in Torrance, the total number of confirmed cases is 7,305, with total confirmed deaths at 214. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Rhiannon Trutanich. It's 4 p.m. on Wednesday, May 12th. Children in California are now one step closer to getting the COVID-19 vaccine. The state's top public health officials said after the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the Western State Scientific Safety Review Group signs off on the Pfizer vaccine, appointments could be made beginning as early as tomorrow. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration authorized Pfizer-BioNTech's shot to be given to kids ages 12 to 15 earlier this week, declaring that it's not only safe but offers strong protection for younger teens based on testing of more than 2,000 U.S. volunteers in those ages. California's Health and Human Services Agency Secretary Dr. Mark Ghaly says parental consent will be required for minors for the COVID-19 vaccine, just like in the case of any other vaccine. The state plans to allow ways for parents to give consent through the state's My Turn portal, with appointments expected to be available by the morning. The state is not planning to require the vaccine for schools at this time because it is still under emergency use authorization. The rate of new COVID-19 infections continues to fall in Los Angeles County. New data released from the state shows county-by-county metrics and found LA County's average rate of daily new infections had fallen to 1.34 per 100,000 residents, down from 1.6 just a week ago. The county's positivity rate also remains steady at 0.7%, while the positivity rate in lower-income communities also dropped to 0.7%. These are all good indicators to keep the county in the yellow, least restrictive tier until the state fully opens on June 15th. Los Angeles County public health officials say they're preparing to be able to administer the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine to children ages 12 to 15 once federal officials give it their final approval. Public Health Director Dr. Barbara Ferrer says with vaccine eligibility set to expand later this week, there will be more opportunities to get the vaccine into more arms, to save lives, and to build the county's protection against COVID-19. She says getting vaccinated is the way to end this pandemic. California Governor Gavin Newsom made a stop here in Southern California yesterday. Newsom spoke at a press conference in San Diego before traveling to Los Angeles. He traded in his suit and tie for jeans and work gloves for the day to help remove trash and debris near freeway underpasses in downtown Los Angeles. Newsom announced a $1.5 billion program to help clean up communities around the state. $8.75 billion over 2 years to create an estimated 46,000 housing units, expanding on a program he launched last year to convert motels and other properties into housing. And he also proposed spending $3.5 billion on rental subsidies, new housing, and shelter resources with the goal of ending family homelessness within 5 years. This could also help families with minors avoid losing their homes in the first place or help them get shelter without spending days or even months on a wait list. This is part of Governor Newsom's $100 billion pandemic recovery plan being rolled out this week thanks to a $76 billion budget surplus and $27 billion in new funds from the federal government's coronavirus spending bill. Now, if Newsom's proposal wins support from the legislature, its implementation would depend heavily on the willingness of local governments and communities. Staying connected may get a little cheaper thanks to a government program that launched today. Americans can now apply to receive $50 off their monthly internet bill as part of the federal pandemic relief package. The $3.2 billion program is part of the president's $900 billion plan that includes increased spending on broadband as the pandemic proved that millions did not have access or could not afford internet service. According to the Federal Communications Commission, who is administering the program, tens of millions of Americans are eligible. The program will end when the fund runs out of money or 6 months after the Department of Health and Human Services declares an end to the COVID-19 health emergency. More than 800 cell phone and home internet companies are participating, including AT&T, Charter, Comcast, T-Mobile, and Verizon. Households who qualify for reduced-price lunch programs, use Medicaid, or lost income during the pandemic and made $99,000 for single filers or $198,000 for joint filers or less would be eligible to apply. You can learn more at getemergencybroadband.org. Millions of veterinarians across the U.S. say they are backlogged after millions adopted new pets during the pandemic. Vets say they're struggling to meet the pre-pandemic demand, with veterinary schools unable to turn out enough doctors and techs fast enough to fill the void. To meet the demand during the pandemic, veterinarians have had to extend hours, hire additional staff, and even refuse to take on new patients. It's also causing burnout and fatigue in the industry. According to the American Pet Products Association, approximately 12.6 million U.S. households got a new pet last year after the pandemic was declared in March 2020. And with pet owners home more now than ever in the past year, people have had the opportunity to notice ailments and health issues with pets that typically may have gone unnoticed or untreated. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, veterinarian positions are projected to grow 16% by 2029, nearly 4 times the average of most other occupations. Industry officials say to remember to bring pets in for their routine exams, to avoid delayed illnesses, and be sure to plan ahead, as those appointments may not be available right away. Another sign of some normalcy returning is the release of the Hollywood Bowl's 2021 summer season lineup. After having to cancel last year's season due to the coronavirus pandemic, the Bowl, along with the LA Philharmonic, announced they're getting ready to welcome back fans with a star-studded calendar of events. The summer schedule includes jazz, reggae, pop, and of course classical music, along with the Bowl's multi-day festival hosted by local public radio's KCRW World Festival. Kool and the Gang will kick off the season with the July 4th fireworks spectacular, then Christina Aguilera and the LA Phil to perform mid-July. Ziggy Marley and Wailing Souls take the stage on August 1st, and Her to perform on August 13th and 14th, and Yo-Yo Ma to take the stage on September 14th. Officials say the 2021 season at the Bowl will be a majority vaccinated venue, meaning it will have 2 sections reserved for those who show proof of vaccination and non-vaccinated audience members who then must show proof of a negative COVID-19 test prior to attendance. Mask wearing will be required regardless of vaccine status. Tickets go on sale beginning June 1st. As Memorial Day weekend approaches, travel industry experts are predicting that national parks will be a popular destination. The Auto Club of Southern California is forecasting that 90% of locals will travel by car this Memorial Day holiday, 7% higher than before the pandemic. Popular urban destinations like San Francisco and Los Angeles have dropped out of the top 5 lists for the first time in recent years, as travelers have become more comfortable with vacationing outdoors. Now, the majority of U.S. national parks are expected to be open this spring with modified operations and facility schedules. Reservations are recommended, with some locations requiring day passes. Experts say with its increased popularity, these should be booked out as soon as possible. Fast food chain McDonald's is gearing up to hire thousands of workers in Southern California as franchisees begin to welcome back more customers to dine in. Company officials say drive-up hiring events will be held with on-the-spot interviews available at hundreds of McDonald's locations on Tuesday, May 18th. The fast food chain has openings for a variety of new positions, including crew members, guest experience leads, shift managers, department managers, and general managers. Now that indoor dining is allowed at 50% capacity under the state's least restrictive yellow tier, and California's economy expected to fully reopen by June 15th, restaurant owners are hoping to ramp up their staff in time to meet the demand. The U.S. Labor Department showed job openings rose nearly 8% to 8.1 million in March, the most on record dating back to December 2000. The list of McDonald's participating in Drive Up Hiring Day can be found at SoCalMCDHiring.com. There you'll find 2 participating locations right here in Torrance. New data on anti-Asian hate incidents reveals some shocking increases this year. The organization Stop AAPI Hate released a national report recently examining incidents that took place over the past year since the pandemic began and revealed the number of incidents surged from nearly 3,800 to 6,600 in March of this year alone. According to the data, which included reports from March 2020 to March 2021, verbal harassment made up the vast majority of reports at 65%. Shunning, defined as deliberate avoidance of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, was the second most common form of discrimination at 18%, while physical assault made up the third largest category at almost 13%. The breakdown of the data also shows that women made up 65% of the reports, and in 22% of the overall incidents, gender, language, and religion were cited as motivating factors for the incidents. New York and California, which have a significant Asian American population, proved to have the highest concentration of incidents compared with other states in the U.S. You can read the full report at stopaapihate.org. Thousands of Muslims living in the greater Los Angeles area and millions around the world mark the end of Ramadan today. The holy month commemorates the first revelation of the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad. The 30-day Islamic festival of Ramadan involves fasting from dawn until dusk, as fasting is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, along with the declaration of faith, daily prayers, charity, and pilgrimage to Mecca. And to mark the end of Ramadan, a 3-day celebration called Eid al-Fitr brings family and friends together in early morning prayers, followed by a feast including a wide array of foods to help break the fast. Public health officials remind the public as mosques begin to reopen with restricted capacity to act with caution, even on special celebrations like Eid. When gathering, be sure to limit the number of invited family and friends who are not from the same household. Always wear face masks, gather outdoors when possible, and social distance. Torrance City Council members headed back into the chambers last night in a hybrid council meeting. Items discussed included a proclamation commemorating the 100th anniversary of the incorporation of the city of Torrance. Then Polypeptide Chief Executive Officer Jane Salick was recognized upon her retirement. She called in to thank members of the council and the city for this acknowledgement and touted Torrance for their role in fostering business relationships and advancement in biotechnology. Then May 14th through the 16th was declared Armed Forces Day as the city salutes the U.S. military. And May 16th through the 22nd was designated as Safety Seat Checkup Week here in the city of Torrance. The city's finance director, Sheila Poisson, also presented the proposed biennial budget and capital improvement plan. The detailed and thorough plan can be found on the city's website. The city manager also shared the latest COVID-19 response and recovery efforts in the city. As more industries are able to loosen restrictions and increase their capacity and ability to do business, the local economy continues to see improvements. And after much debate and discussion, 4 of the 6 city council members who attended last night's meeting approved to move forward with an Independence Day fireworks show, with the condition that the public not be allowed to attend or gather for the show. Council members Chen and Matucci voted against the motion, suggesting the city reserve the budgeted funds for the future. Several other items were discussed on last night's agenda. You can catch replays of the meeting right here on our channel, on YouTube, and on social media. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share feel-good stories from our community, pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. The city celebrated another major milestone in its COVID-19 recovery efforts as the West Annex lobby reopened for the first time to the public today. Doors opened at 10 a.m. to allow in-person registration for day camps. Some of the safety measures in place include mask requirements, social distancing markers, limited capacity in the lobby to 11 customers at any given time, and sanitizing pens after each use. Just in the first few hours, close to 30 people stopped in to sign up in person. Now today through Monday, May 17th, only day camp registration will be offered in person at the West Annex. Then beginning on May 17th, adult softball will be available to sign up online for residents and non-residents and walk-ins available beginning May 24th.
The Community Services Department has been relatively dormant for public service for the past 16 months. We have been virtually programming for the community during that time, but obviously our bailiwick is to serve the public with live recreational and community services opportunities. And the result of opening our doors today and seeing the public respond by arriving early, being in line, and engaging with our registration office is welcome news for all of our staff and our contractors to provide services and programming to the community on an in-person basis for the first time in over a year. We're delighted to have the public responding and re-engaging with us on a public level.
What a great sign of progress as we begin to return to more normal operations. And what a great way to make the public feel welcome and safe again, one registration at a time. Now, if you have a great story, upcoming event, a photo or video you'd like to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that's our update for COVID-19 today. We hope you'll join us back here again tomorrow as Bella Shaw brings you the latest. Be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.